Hello, everyone. My name is Kate, and I am a nurse working with the Children's Tumor Foundation in patient support. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a few tips about the new NF registry, how to make an account, and how to move around inside the registry. I'm glad you've joined me. When you visit the NF registry, you'll be at the home page here. You'll see our logo. There are several links at the top that you can explore without even making an account. You'll answer there's some basic questions answered here about what the registry is and why there are some changes. You'll also see our contact information below where you can reach out to us. This is where you'll log in when you have an account. We have a forgot password option. I know that happens to me a lot. And then we also have here the create a new account. So I'm going to select that, and this screen will pop up. You'll see everything in red we require that you fill in order to move forward. That includes this box at the bottom. I agree to terms and conditions. You can read those terms and conditions by clicking here, but you will have to click that box in order to be able to create your account. So you'll fill in all of these boxes, and then you'll actually receive a verification email from the registry itself. And once you receive that email, then you'll be able to move ahead with creating the rest of your account. Okay, so you'll see here I've created my account and I've received my welcome to registry email. Please make sure that you check for this email in your spam folders. Occasionally you will have to actually whitelist our email address so that you can receive this email. So this is going to come from info@nfregistry.org, and sometimes it can, different email servers can think it's junk mail, so be sure to look for that. If you do not receive this email, you will have the option of visiting the NF Registry website and asking it to resend the activation email. You can also reach out to us at any time. But once you've received this, there's a link that you'll be able to click right here, and you select that link and it's going to take you back to the registry and allow you to continue setting up your account. And once you have done that, then it'll allow you to continue to fill in the information for the person that you are enrolling. Okay, so once you've selected in your email that you're ready to activate your account, it'll take you to the enrollment page. So let's talk a little bit about enrollment. We have enrollment types. I am enrolling myself. You could be an adult affected by NF, and then you would select this. I am enrolling a person under 18 for whom I am parent or guardian. Again, that would be a child in your care. You can enroll them by clicking this. And the third option is enrolling a person who's over 18 but requires your assistance and you are in some way their guardian. I want to be clear that if you do not have NF, you do not select I am enrolling myself. If you are enrolling someone in your care, it will be either option 2 or 3. If you are affected by NF, then you would start by enrolling yourself, and later you'll have options to add people to your account who are in your care. So I'm going to go ahead and select I am enrolling myself, so this would mean that I am an adult affected by NF of some form. And then this would allow me to now click next. When you click next, it's going to take you to a page that allows you to finish or to complete the information about who specifically you're enrolling in the registry. On this page, you'll fill in patient's first name, last name, etc. Again, because I'm saying that I'm an adult affected by NF who's enrolling myself, this would be my information. If, however, I was enrolling someone else, perhaps a child or again an adult in my care, this would be their information. So you would not put your own information unless you are the person who is affected by NF, who is creating the account. So you go ahead and you fill that in. Again, everything in red is required, and you will not be able to proceed by selecting next until you have completed all of the required parts of this page. Now that I've completed that section, it takes me to consent. And if you look up here, you'll notice there are these arrows that kind of tell you the path that you're on in terms of creating your account. Consent's very important. We've laid out this page so that there are specific questions that you may have, and then little drop-down menus that provide those answers. So we do encourage you to take the time to read through everything that you're agreeing to. You'll notice that there are 3 places where the consent information or the button to select is in red. The reason for that is because in order to participate in the registry, you will have to click all 3 of these. You'll have to agree to these 3 different things. We have them 1, 2, and 3. We understand and want to encourage everyone to know that it's absolutely up to you whether or not you agree to these things. You simply cannot participate in the registry if you do not select these buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my agreement with these 3 items. And that takes us down to number 4, where you'll notice that these things are not in red, and that is because these are optional. This is about our ability to contact you. So, for example, if there's an opportunity to participate in a clinical trial or research study, would I want to be contacted? I'm going to go ahead and select yes for that. If there are additional questions about information I've entered, this one can be helpful in case there's anything that you've shared that is unclear or confusing in any way. And so I'm going to go ahead and select yes for that. And if there's further information about NF research news or events, I'm going to go ahead and say yes to that. I want to pause a moment and talk about how we contact you. You'll get emails that come from the registry. And sometimes these will be flagged when you do find them. They might end up in your spam folder, or they might come to your regular folder with a big yellow box at the top saying, warning, this could be spam. If you're seeing that warning, you just need to add our email address that is coming from to what's called your whitelist. You'll see the email address right at the top of it, so you'll know exactly what you need to add to that whitelist. And if you have questions about what that means, please just reach out to us. We're happy to help with that. You can always contact us at those emails that are at the homepage of the registry. So let's go ahead and proceed. Now that I've consented, I can select next. So when you consent, it's going to take you into the next section, which we'll take a look at together. This is where you're going to tell us about the type of NF that you have. I want to just highlight that it does say type of NF or type of NF suspected. That's because if you do not have a confirmed diagnosis, but you're being followed by a doctor for the suspicion of NF1, NF2, or schwannomatosis, you can still participate in the registry, and we encourage you to do so. So you'll select the type of NF. You'll also select where you receive healthcare. This is for your NF-related healthcare. You do have the option to select none if you do not see a doctor. And then we tried to include as many options as possible, but you'll notice at the very bottom, there is an option at the bottom of this drop-down to select other, and then that gives you a space where you can type in the name of the doctor. If you'll include the city, state, or country, we really appreciate that. It does help us to know where there might be some doctors working with NF patients that we are not aware of. So I'm going to go ahead and select a clinic, because if I don't select a clinic, then I cannot select finish. But you'll notice here, oh, I can't select that. Oh, that's because I forgot to click my type of NF. So the system sort of protects you from forgetting to include important information. So then you can go ahead and you'll be able to select next at that point. The next section is what we call baseline. These are questions that we would like you to answer right away. There's only 2 of them. The age of diagnosis, which again, these are required. These yellow triangles let us know that you have to answer these questions before you can proceed. And then what kind of doctor diagnosed you? Not sure, not officially diagnosed, other, those are all options. If you do select other, again, it will open up an option for you to type in the type of doctor that made your diagnosis. But until you've selected a doctor, you will not be allowed to select this button called finish. So we'll go ahead and select finish, and then I can show you the next piece of what's going to happen. You will see this window pop up that allows you to go to the patient dashboard. We want to encourage you to finish your enrollment by also completing your patient survey. If you have time to do it in one sitting, that's wonderful. The system will send you reminder emails, however, if you decide to stop at this point and come back at a later time to finish filling out your survey. So that is definitely an option. Okay, so now that I've completed enrollment, I have a patient homepage. So it has my name and information up here. Patient surveys are right here. Over here, we have your enrollment form that you can click to review at any time. Your consent and contact references can be updated at any time. Those 3 options that at the bottom that were optional, you can change those if at some point you think, I really don't want to receive these particular emails anymore. You can make changes to those here as well. You can also upload genetic tests by selecting upload your result, and that will allow you to add a PDF file of any genetic test results that you have. I'd like to take a little time to show you the patient survey. So we're gonna do that next, so that I can just show you a few features that we really think have made some improvements to that process. Okay, when you go into the survey, the first thing you'll notice is that there's a bar at the top that's green. It says 0% completed, and over here it says you're on page 0 of 31. So we'll keep an eye on that. I want to show you how that sort of moves along as you do your survey. Also, note that you don't have to complete it all in one sitting. You can come back, it will save your information. And any field that's marked with that yellow triangle is a required entry, and it will not allow you to advance unless you have filled that information out. So let's get started. So the first thing it's going to ask is how you would rank the severity of the patient's NF. And keep in mind again that the patient in this case is the person you've enrolled and the name at the top of the screen. And so I'll go ahead and select mild. You will notice no yellow triangle. I would be able to skip this question if I chose to. Genetic testing, has that ever been done? So here's what I would like to show you is that if you select yes, so first question is asking about diagnosis. I've selected mild for how I would rank overall severity. Again, the patient that you're answering questions about for all of these is going to be the name at the top of the screen. And so I select mild, and then you see here that now my little green bar has moved along and said I am 3% completed with my survey. So that helps you keep an eye on how much you've completed and how far you have to go still. Here's an example of a question that we do require you to answer in order to advance to the next screen. So I said, genetic testing, did the results of the patient's genetic blood test confirm the diagnosis of NF1? I've been given this question because I previously answered that yes, I had had genetic testing done. So I can say, yes, they confirmed, or no, they were not confirmed, or I'm not sure. So I'm going to go ahead and select yes. And then now that allows me to select next so that I can move on to the next screen and continue the survey. I want to show you quickly that there is something that happens with the registry that is, I think, really helpful tool for patients to notice. So up here again, we have our green completion bar, and now it's asking me about itching. And so again, yellow triangle, it's requiring an answer. If I select no, no itching, that green bar stays at 27%. However, if I select yes, do you see that it dropped down to 26%? The reason for that is that my yes answer has added a question to my survey. So when I select next, it's going to ask me further questions about itching, what my experience with itching might be, what my symptoms are, and any treatments that I've tried to treat that itching. And so that's just a way for you to notice that depending on how you answer a question, it may add 1 or 2 questions to get more information about that particular symptom. Once you've completed your survey and reached the end, it will take you to this screen. It says 100% completed. Really what that means is that I've gone through every question. Whether or not I've answered them is up to me. So you'll see here it has my answers over here. In some cases, it will just say unanswered because perhaps I've just chosen to skip that question. We do encourage you to try to answer every question. However, we understand that occasionally you may choose to skip. You do have the option over here on the right-hand side to edit any answers. You just select edit, and it will jump you back to the page where the question you want to change exists and allow you to enter a new answer. And then you can just select the button that says review, and it takes you right back to where you've been reviewing your answers. Once you've reviewed all your answers, you scroll down to the bottom and you select finish. And when you do that, it's going to take you back to your primary patient page that has all of your information in one location. I want to show you one last thing about this page. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, right here, you can see that I'm on the patient, Kathleen Keltz. But there's also an option here for account holder. And if you select that, it's going to take you to the primary account holders page and list the accounts that that particular person has created. Usually this is where groups of families will all be listed in the same place. So in this case, because I'm the primary account holder and I enrolled myself as an adult who's affected by NF, the name is the same in each location. But right over here is this really wonderful button called Enroll Patient. And if you select that, that will take you back to the beginning where we are able to enroll a new patient who will forever, that account will be linked to this account and they will all be listed right here together. So you'll have, if I wanted to enroll myself and say a daughter who is affected by NF1, then I would enroll patient, and then she would be the patient. And I would, fill out those baseline questions and do her NF1 survey. And when I had done all of that, her name would be right here below my name. And then when I wanted to make changes to her health information, I would go into her account and I could do that. So that's a really nice feature that the registry now kind of just makes that a little bit simpler for families, so that you can keep a parent or a guardian account tied easily with any children or people in your care. So hopefully this has been a helpful, just quick run through of how the registry works. We really are trying to make it better and more user-friendly. So thanks for taking the time to watch this today, and we hope that you will join the NF Registry and reach out to us with any questions. Thanks so much.